My name is Johan Oldenkamp, and I'm a researcher. I research everything that is important to me. When I was a student, I read all kinds of books which were not on the list of university, but I thought they were much more interesting, much more important too. And I put all that information in my head somehow. And at a certain moment in my life, I decided to completely stop with what I was doing. And from that day on, I was able to integrate all those different insights from all those years, which were somehow in the back of my mind, into a complete new system. And that's what I call holy science, the science of the whole of everything. And from that moment on, I've been writing books, many books, and giving much lectures, because it's a paradigm, and that paradigm allows me to add more insights and show how everything is connected to all the other parts. So it's a fantastic journey so far. You don't hear the difference between holy and holy, because one is without the W and the double L, and the other is with. And there's a huge difference, because to me, holy without the W and the double L means full of holes. And those stories, they are not complete. Some essential parts are lacking, and that's what I think is true for the universities, but also for the religions. So they don't tell us the whole story. They tell us only the parts that they want us to know, and the rest they either changed or they just left out. And holy with W and double L is the whole of everything. So it makes it complete again. And it's the same like healing. Healing is also whole making whole. So when you are whole again, then you're healed. It's a classic story from the New Testament, the story of the wise man who builds his house on rock and the not so wise man who built a house on sand. But that house is a metaphor for our understanding of reality. And you can understand the reality by accepting all the things people have told you at school or anywhere else, the television. If you accept all that, then you are actually building a house on sand, because most of that is not true. So you have to start afresh. You have to break down the old house, which was built on sand, and you start to make your own new house on rock. And that means that you have to forget everything that you thought was true. Start all over again, afresh, and from that you build little by little a new house. And you can only build things, can use things for building if it is 100% true. So you have to check every tiny bit of it, and only then you can build. To me, there are two essential features of the truth. First, it has to be simple. And if you look at the university theories, they're absolutely not simple, so they're not true. And it has to be logical. If it doesn't make any sense, then it probably is not true either. So if it is factual and it's logical, then you can start building little by little. And that's what I've been doing for some time now. Yeah, when you look at the first chapter of Genesis, then you see that there is a creational story in which everything is created in 6 days. But those days are not referring to time as a time period, but they're referring to a level. And actually it's a top-down description of our whole of reality, starting with God at the top, then the universe, then the galaxy, then our solar system, then the planets, then our own planet, and at the bottom you find you can call it the flat worlds, where people have no idea how the hierarchy above them is really created. And it's both a physical reality, physical hierarchy, but also a spiritual hierarchy, because you can ascend to each of those levels. And at the bottom level, your spiritual ascension has not started yet. You're actually at rock bottom at that moment. And that means that you have no idea that there is more than what your senses tell you. You only think that this world that you can see, hear, and so on, that is the own reality. But that's an illusion. And the moment you start to realize that this world is actually an illusion, and that you are much more than a physical body, that you are a spiritual being having a physical experience instead of being a physical being having a spiritual experience. So it's actually upside down. The moment you realize that you are a spiritual being, then you have taken, you're ascending that ladder of consciousness. But most people, when they watch television constantly and they read the newspapers and they think this is the reality, they don't get it. So and actually that whole environment of television and mainstream media wants you to keep at that lowest level of consciousness, because there you can be controlled. That's what they want. They want you to control you so that you can feed the system. The system needs your energy to continue. Most people think it's your money, but the money is not really that important. It's your energy, your attention. What do you spend your valuable time on? Is it watching soaps on the television or sports on the television or reading silly magazines? Or do you use your energy to create something that is valuable in your own life? How do you use your valuable energy in your time? That's essential. So they want the systems, the so-called system, you can also call it the matrix, doesn't really matter, wants you to be as low as possible because there they can manipulate you. But the moment you start to see through the illusion, then you free yourself and then you can ascend to a higher level. That's actually the Genesis chapter 1 is all about. Everything that is natural must be created. Yeah, when we look outside, we see a tree, we see a ocean, we see beautiful night sky, and there must be a creator. So we don't know, we can't comprehend that creator, so we just gave it a name, and the creator of everything that's natural, we named it God. I think that's good. It's a name. So don't have the illusion that you know what God is by giving it a name, but that's a different story. God is the creator of everything that is natural. So, and we can see what is natural. Yeah, a flower that is growing is natural. A baby that is born in a natural way is natural, and so on. There's also the opposite of natural, and that's anti-natural. And anti-natural wants to destroy which is natural. It wants to be in the place of something that is natural. For instance, if you take the company Monsanto, it creates seeds that can only grow for 1 year, and then you have to purchase a new seed. And if you by accident have a seed of Monsanto on your land, which you didn't buy, then they accuse you of theft and they can put you in prison for stealing a Monsanto copyrighted seed. So that is a clear case of violating the natural creation. They want to play gods, but they are actually the anti-God, the anti-Christ, because their seeds destroy what is natural. Another example, if you brush your teeth with fluoride, then the fluoride inside destroys your pineal gland. It calcifies it, and therefore your pineal gland is not functioning good anymore. And then you cannot longer see the world beyond the physical reality. So you don't get into contact with the energies. Yeah, you cannot feel the moods for other people and so on. So you become really, you make something not working which was natural. In this case, your third eye chakra, also called like that. So by using fluoride, you also violate actually that commandment. Do not copy God's creation, or do not mess with God's creation, which is the second commandment. So it's all about working along with the natural world, and for most certainly not work against the natural world. So you have the natural and the anti-natural, those are the two extremes, and in between there is the unnatural. Yeah, for instance, I'm sitting on a plastic chair, it doesn't grow on a tree. So, but this is not anti-natural, because I can sit here, but I can also sit on a branch or whatever. Yeah, I can sit on the ground. But it's just an aid for me. So unnatural is okay. Natural is of course the best, but anti-natural, that is it's not allowed. It's forbidden, so to say. And that's what the game is about. There is a group of people who want to control this world, and their agenda is to make everything that is natural away and replace it by anti-natural. And when they have succeeded in doing that, then they have won the game, so to say. It's the game of them against God. And God is the natural world, including us, and they are the anti-natural people, or you can also call them the Satanists or whatever, anti-Christian people. It starts with understanding what the Bible is. The Bible has two parts, a New Testament and an Old Testament, and it is exactly what the word says. It's a testament, so it's a will. And the will tells us there is a legacy, and the legacy that we can inherit is the world, or this planet. But we need to do something. There is a condition, and the condition that is referring to the 10 Commandments. So when we live according to the 10 Commandments, then we are entitled to our heritage. That's very simple. But many people, including myself, were not able to keep up with those 10 Commandments. I violated not all of them, but many of them. So my heritage was gone. No more legacy for me. And therefore, fortunately, there is the New Testament that tells you what you should do in order to regain your birthright, to make sure that you're entitled again to that legacy. And that is very simple: to repent. The whole New Testament is all about how to become in line again with behaving according to the Ten Commandments. So the main aspect of the Old Testament are the Ten Commandments, and the main aspect of the New Testament is to repent. And that's the essence. And the Ten Commandments are very simple to understand, actually, because the first 5 are spiritual precepts, and the second 5 are social. So the social are just here to make sure that we can get along with each other, that I don't murder you and you don't murder me, and so on. Those are the last 5 are really simple, really straightforward, and the first 5 need a little bit more explanation, because the wording in the current version of the Bible not really helpful in most cases. But when you interpret it a little bit different with the knowledge I added to it, then it becomes really simple. And in essence, the first 5 are about raising your consciousness to the highest level, and that highest level you can refer to as the 7th heaven, because there are 7 heavens. And that 7th heaven, you can also call it the Sabbath or the 7th day. So you should honor the 7th day. Yes, you should honor the 7th level. So you should work your way up to the 7th level. And for instance, you have to honor your father and your mother, which is the 4th commandment. But the 4th commandment is talking about your spiritual father and your spiritual mother. And your spiritual father is our Father who art up in heaven, which is the sun Helios. And our spiritual mother is the mother who art in the earth, which is Gaia or Terra. So if we honor the planet that we live upon, and if we honor the light bringer in the sky, then we are already halfway up to the 7th heaven. So that's why we have the 4th commandment. Actually, the commandment is make your way home as quickly as possible, the 4th one, because by honoring your father and your mother, you're already halfway home.